which was very discouraging. I thought that things were going to turn around and, things were going to get better, and but it didn't happen. I was doing it the wrong way, and the Lord was trying to show me, that's not exactly how I want you to do. I got something else going on here. So I found a job with somebody and selling fruit on the side of the road, and paid really good money, so I took that and was able to start saving money. And during that time, along with the box, the orphanage box, the resupply there, God is also working with me about that I need to do something about getting electricity there for the orphanage through a hydro turbine. And I started doing research and seeing what kind of options are out there, what could happen. And the main reason to get this electricity was to get electricity to the clinic, so then we could have vaccinations that will help the children, even carry insulin, some other different medicines, even work some of our medical devices that were donated to the orphanage that we haven't been able to use because we don't have electricity. And of course have electricity in the orphanage. And I'd even planned maybe to have some electricity to put into the local village there. So I was kind of working on that and saving some money to do that. Just praying, asking the Lord, what's going on here? What can happen? Something's got to happen because it's all been bad for now. There's got to be some sort of a change somewhere. Something good's got to start happening. And about that time, when I was working there on the side of the road selling fruit, I got an email from Carol, a lady named Carol, who said that her family used to work in the Congo, and her dad was a missionary there in the Congo, and that she would love to talk to me and talk a little bit more, get some information. I got that email. I was like, oh, that's neat. I wonder what can happen there. Kind of prayed about it. Then a couple of days later, I got a message from her daughter, Nicole. And Nicole was interested in working in an orphanage in Congo. She had just gotten back from a Ugandan trip, working in an orphanage in Uganda. But with her grandparents working in Congo, she'd always kind of felt led and directed to work in Congo with the orphans. And she called me up and asked some questions, asked me if there's any families or anything working in the area. And I said, no, there's only people there is me. And she said, well, I really want to work over there, and that would be what God is calling me to do. And I said, well, if you want to do that, you'll have to go over with me. And she said, no, that's not possible. I can't work with a single missionary. The church wouldn't be behind that. My parents wouldn't like that. I said, oh, all right. And we started talking a little bit more, and she had tons of questions, and I didn't have anything going on, so I was asking her some questions about her life, and interesting about how her grandparents were involved in Congo, and her granddad was actually killed there when the Congolese had their War of Independence. And he was one of the white missionaries that were killed at that time. Well, we started talking on the phone for a couple months, and it was I knew something had to be happening here, because if any of you have ever asked me, when are you getting married, when are you getting married, my answer. Well, I don't know too many girls that want to go be missionary in the Congo. That's pretty much my answer. It's kind of the whole way her life was. She didn't know too many guys that wanted to go be a missionary in the Congo. She knows she was supposed to be there, and she was supposed to be a missionary, but how are you going to talk somebody else into that? It's not too easy. It's got to be the Lord's will. So we just kept talking, and we really got along well. Everything just kind of paired up. Our beliefs, our doctrines, our ideas of missions were almost mirrored of each other. So I just really felt like this is the Lord working here. The Lord has sent somebody. What's going to happen, how it's going to happen, I don't know. But I ended up, her parents invited me over there to go to a family camp this past summer, the end of the summer, and I went there for a month or so. And spent a month there with her family and with her church family, and we went to family camp and really got to know each other real well. And just saw that, this is the lady that the Lord has been preparing for me all these years to be my wife. You always think when you're growing up and get older and older, you say, where's that girl at? I wonder where she's living. Where's that girl at that I'm supposed to get married? I wonder what she's doing right now. You're always thinking that. Then when you finally meet her, it's really a blessing. It's really blows your mind almost. This girl used to live down the street when I was a little kid in the same city. We never met each other, and it's like everything that we've ever done in our life is kind of run off each other. She has family in Oregon where I live. She went to college over in Ohio where we used to live. Just all these mirrored things. In our missions philosophy and our doctrines, it's all the same, and what we wanted to do with our lives, the exact same country, the exact same way. It's like the Lord took me those first 5 years and kind of cut the trail and kind of made it a little bit easier and made it a little bit more comfortable so that I could get a wife and bring her over. I did all the crazy stuff, all the wild stuff, and figured out how Congo works and how the people works, and he gave me that education that might have been a little bit harder taking a single or a wife over there, but now all the paths have been laid, things have been set up. Well, we started getting to know each other even better. Then I, finally started courting her, and then I brought her back up here to meet all you guys. And at that time, that's when I asked her to marry me. And we got married, and it was wonderful. The Scheidemails were able to come up there, and that's kind of when the things started really turning around for me and for the ministry in Congo. Many of you know that the orphanage, we pretty much have it half done. We got the roof on there, we got the shell on there, everything's ready. It just needed a floor and, some windows and a door. We've been praying about that for years, at least I had, since we finished it, and just needed a few little things. Well, the Lord was able to bless this past few months and got all the money donated that we needed to finish it. So Fred's busy working right now. I put a couple pictures in the backboard there, and some of you that get the newsletters will see some pictures of, they put the cement on the walls already, and then they're starting to put the cement floor in. And they're already working on the doors. You got orders in for all the wood, for the doors, for the windows, and for the ceiling. So that orphanage is supposed to be finished March 5th. The only thing that'll be left is a bathroom. I told Fred that you need to hold off on the bathroom. I want to do that one. I don't like the African bathrooms very well. Just have a hole in the floor. I wasn't too big on that. So I told him to wait off on that. I'll take care of the bathroom and set the shower up and stuff like that. So it'll be a real blessing. Also, this past few months, we even got the money to buy a hydro turbine. And the hydro turbine will be enough to put electricity into the orphanage, and it'll also be enough to put electricity to the clinic. And we'll also have some extra electricity to do some small businesses like a barber shop and a place to sell milk and drinks, and a little shop to sell vegetables. And that's even interesting how that worked out. I've been doing all this research and thought I had a turbine picked out what I wanted, and one day I went back there and it wasn't even there. It didn't exist. Couldn't find it. I didn't know what happened to it. I was like, what happened? That was the turbine I was supposed to buy. I have the money now. So then I started doing a little bit more research and found another one. And it was really expensive. It was $3,500. But it was perfect. I didn't need to have any head. It was only 10 feet of head, and it would make 1 kilowatt of power. And I was like, this is perfect, But I did a little praying about it before I bought it. And turns out I found it on eBay at half price. And it was brand new. So I got that same turbine for half price, and I called the guy up and talked to him. Turns out he's a missionary's kid. His uncle was a missionary in Congo, and his parents were missionaries in Portugal. So that relationship started building, and he's been helping me out with any questions that I have with it, and actually bought a whole bunch of parts for it and sent it with the turbine and got it wired up specifically how I needed it to have, all free, and the turbine itself half price, brand new. It's really just a blessing. That's how God wanted it to work out when He wanted it to work. And that's the thing that I struggle, and I think a lot of Christians struggle with, is we know what we want and how we want it. And maybe God does want you to have that, but you never know the way that He's going to use. I wanted to go back to Congo when I first came back here last summer, back in April. I wanted to go straight there. Didn't want to waste time, go straight there, but the Lord had a lot of other stuff in store and worked out. And He gave me a wife. He finished the orphanage. We got the turbine now to have electricity, and there's so many different things that we're going to be able to do with that. Long-term plans is we're going to put a Christian radio station there on the orphanage, and then we'll be able to, instead of me walking up and down the mountains all the time chasing out people, we'll be able to send the radio broadcast out there, and we'll help them out with radios, cheap radios that you can get for a couple dollars that are crank radios, and all sorts of different ways we can do that. The Congolese love their music, and we'll be able to put Christian music, gospel music on there, along with preaching and different things like that. It'll really be a strong outreach to the people there, along with this clinic that we'll have with electricity. Also, after we got married, Nicole wanted us to spend a couple months, and I wanted to spend a couple months down there meeting her church family and all the people around in her area, just to get to know her parents a little bit better and her family a little bit better. And that's where I've been for about the last 2 months, since December 8th. And we traveled around to a few churches and got to meet a lot of different people. And while we were there, we were able to get enough support to meet what I wanted with us being married, and even then some. So the Lord is just truly blessed. He's given us with enough support that'll really be able us to live over there and to do what we need to do without hands being tied. Sometimes when I was single, it was all right for me because I'm just a single guy and I can make sacrifices, but it's not so nice when you have a wife and you want to have children. And the Lord just gave us everything we needed, then some. Even has given us some new orphan supporters. And what's going on with the orphans, we kind of changed it around a little bit, calling it the Orphan Advocate Program. And we have a brochure that we're going to hand out to show some of you guys that don't support orphans. Not so much is going to change with those that you do support orphans, but just a little things. But we're going to be able to add 30 new orphans when we get there. And what we'll do then is we'll add about 10 orphans every couple months. And we'll be able. But the key thing is we really want to have sponsors for these orphans, not so much for financial issues, but just so they have somebody that they know loves them, is praying for them, who cares about them, somebody special, somebody just for them. Because me and Nicole will be there, and Fred will be there, and yeah, we love all the orphans equal, and we want to take care of all of them. But if you can remember when you're a child, or even the children you have, that's special when they have, that intimate relationship with a specific dad figure or mom figure, or even if you're younger, like a big sister or a big brother figure. That's really important for these orphans, to have somebody they know that they can talk to and they can write letters to. And I hope to get a little bit better about that. The last few years it's been really difficult coordinating, getting letters back and forth and doing stuff like that. So I apologize to those of you who do support the orphans. Nicole is way more detail-oriented and very good at keeping records and so on, so that's going to get a lot better. That's just something that I wasn't very good at. But things are going to get a lot better with that, and you'll be hearing stories of tons of new orphans, and we'll be sending profiles back and pictures back, and maybe you guys can find somebody who would like to be a part of an orphan's life. That's what we really need from the church, is your prayers as we go there. And don't forget about these orphans, because they don't forget about you. They don't have anybody. They're truly orphans. We don't take kids in just because their parents don't have money to pay for their school, stuff like that. These are orphans, and they need somebody to be a part of their life. So if that's something that you might be interested in, you could talk to me and Nicole about. We can get you some literature. But the Lord, I just want to just share with you. The Lord has been so good these last few months, and He's really encouraged me, and He's given Nicole everything that she's ever prayed for. She prayed for a husband that was going to Congo and work with orphans. And now she's married one. So it's going to... I told her church she got what she wanted. We'll see how it goes. She's going to Congo. See if that's what she really... If it sticks out, there's no return. But, so things have just gone so well in both of our lives. I'd just like to thank all of you for being so faithful and caring about us and praying for us. And I just... if you have any kind of questions while I'm here, don't feel free to ask, or if there's something that you don't quite understand or more explanation on something, feel free to ask us, and I'll do my best. I'd like to apologize. The last few years have been kind of hard and discouraging for me, especially with the communication back and forth with the orphans and the tribulations that have been going on there. But things are looking up and things are turning around, and there's going to be exciting things happening in the orphanage over there. And I want you guys to be a part of it, and keep us in your prayers. Thank you.